My brother announced I'd be his free nanny for his newborn to give my life purpose. I gave him a reality check. So after 12 years of being home with my 3 kids, they were finally all in school full-time this September. I'd been counting down to this moment since my youngest Tyler started kindergarten. Those first few weeks were incredible. I joined a pottery class on Tuesdays, started swimming at the community center every morning, and actually read books during the day instead of at midnight when everyone was asleep. I even started learning Italian through this app because why not? My husband Jack kept saying he hadn't seen me this happy in years. For the first time in over a decade, my time was actually mine from 8:30 to 3:30. Everything was perfect until Thanksgiving at my mother's house. We were all sitting around after dinner when my brother Calvin and his wife Renee announced they were having a baby. Everyone was congratulating them and asking questions about the due date and nursery plans. Then my cousin asked about childcare since they both worked full-time. Calvin looked right at me and said, "Oh, that's all figured out. Jess is going to watch the baby." He said it like he was telling everyone the weather forecast. I literally thought I heard wrong. I looked at him waiting for the punchline, but he just smiled and said how lucky they were to have me available. Renee added that it was so perfect timing with my kids in school now. My mother started gushing about how wonderful it would be for me to bond with my new niece or nephew. Everyone was acting like this was some beautiful plan, except nobody had asked me anything. I just stared at Calvin, but didn't want to start drama at Thanksgiving, so I said we should talk about it later. He waved me off and said there was nothing to discuss. It was all settled. The next morning, Calvin called to ask what time would work best for drop-off when the baby came. I asked him when exactly he decided I was going to be his full-time babysitter. He said it wasn't a decision. It was obvious since I was home doing nothing all day anyway. I told him I wasn't doing nothing. I had activities and classes scheduled. He actually laughed and said those weren't real commitments like a job. He said I could do hobbies anytime, but they needed help during work hours. I asked if they planned to pay me, and he said family doesn't charge family. Besides, they were saving for a house. Then he mentioned he'd already told his boss he didn't need paternity leave since I'd be handling everything. They'd even bought a car seat for my car already. The entitlement was unreal. I told him I'd help in emergencies, but I wasn't going to be their everyday childcare. Calvin lost it. He said they'd factored my help into their budget and couldn't afford daycare. He kept saying I had nothing important to do anyway, and that a baby was more important than swimming laps. He said they specifically planned the pregnancy timing, assuming I'd be available. Then Renee got on the phone crying about how they'd been trying for 2 years and thought I'd be happy to help make their dreams come true. She said her mother worked full-time or she'd ask her instead. She actually said I should be grateful they trusted me with their baby. I said they should be grateful if anyone offers free childcare and hung up. Calvin called back immediately saying I was ruining their lives over some stupid hobby classes. He said they both needed to work to afford the baby, and Renee couldn't handle the stress of finding daycare now. He also said he went to the gym every evening for his anxiety, and now he'd have to give that up if they had to rush home from daycare pickup. I said so. You want to keep your gym time, but I should give up my entire day. He said it wasn't the same thing because he had a real job and real stress. He said watching a baby would give my life purpose again since my kids didn't need me anymore. That did it. I told him his baby could give his own life purpose, and maybe he should skip the gym to watch his own child. He called me selfish and said I'd regret this when I needed help one day. My mother called an hour later, saying I was being stubborn, and Calvin was just excited about the baby. I asked if she was volunteering to babysit then. She said she couldn't because of her hip problems, but that I should want to help. I said Calvin should want to raise his own child. She said I was tearing the family apart. I said Calvin tore it apart when he volunteered me for a job I didn't apply for. The next few weeks were tense. Full story on channel, link below.